Hello, my gardening friends. Well, I may already be sweaty and dirty because I've been out in the garden for a couple hours. My mission is to get these bulbs in the ground. Who loves tulips? Have you ever grown tulips in Zone 10? If so, let me know when you plant your tulips and what varieties you like. I love tulips. It is so much work to plant these bulbs, but every spring I am so thankful and I feel so proud. I feel so proud that I grow them here in Zone 10, Southern California. So anyway, I will show you what I got done. There was no point in filming that. I mean, that's just me sweating and laboring, and you've already kind of seen that, so I'll just show you where it ended up, and I'll show you what variety I planted. I'll show you that, but for now I just want to get some pansies and violas planted. That's the beauty of Zone 10 gardening. We can plant literally all year long, and the winter is our pansy season, not the spring. It's really winter because it just gets too hot. So if I plant these pansies and violas now in January, today's January the 3rd, I'll be able to enjoy them for at least a good 4 months until April. And by April, I'll be ready to plant petunias in my summer annuals. So that's what I'm doing today. I thought I'd just bring you along while I plant some pansies and violas, and maybe just chat about, reflecting on the 2025 gardening year, what worked, what didn't work, what was my favorite, and if I have any thoughts about what I'm going to do in 2026, I will share that with you. I am very much in the moment type of a gardener. I plant what strikes my fancy in the moment. So I don't do a whole lot of planning. It's just when I feel inspired or moved, or see something I like that's available and accessible, then I grab it and I find a spot for it. That's how I roll. So anyway, let's get some pansies in the ground. Aren't these gorgeous? You just can't beat this classic white with the purple splotch and the yellow eye. They're just so pretty. I love them so much. And I'm going to pack this area in with pansies while we're waiting for the tulip bulbs to come up. And I just wanted to point out, aren't the Expires looking just spectacular? This is Echeveria Sahara. They are so tough. They do so well in our heat. They give you pups and babies, so it's the gift that keeps on giving, and I love them so much. And then I have a lot of you ask me about my ground cover. This is dwarf carpet of stars, and it's also commonly known as Nana. And I think you can see in the shot that I have you at right now, the sweet flowers that bloom in the winter when there's not much else blooming. Now they're kind of closed up right now because the sun is not out, but the blooms, I love it. And it's so tough. It's walkable. It's a lawn replacement. I've had this ground cover for at least 5 years. We put this in right when the garden was installed, so in 2020. And I just keep transplanting little bits of it here and there, and I keep moving it around the garden. My sister and my mom can come and grab some. My neighbor. So it's been awesome. Very awesome. All right. Let's get these pansies in the ground, and as you can see, I ended up topping this up with some compost. just to get that depth that we need to plant those tulip bulbs. It makes it a little cheat code, you know, because the digging part is too labor intensive. Now, this is easy planting. This is what I'm talking about. Let's just slide some of this back and boop. Easy peasy. Oh my gosh. I hear frogs croaking. I love all the wildlife in my garden. Easy planting, this is what I'm talking about. One of my biggest takeaways from this 2025 gardening season was mass planting and saving spots in my garden where I could mass plant some annual color. And I feel like that was well received by just neighbors, friends, people who came to visit, and you all who are watching. It is so pleasing to the eye, and it's fun to be able to just change this up season to season, or even repeat, whatever you like, whatever you're feeling. Another takeaway from this gardening season was it was really fun to try something new. And a few new things that I tried this year were planting bread seed poppies from seed that I started the fall before. And then I did that cool flower method where you start your seeds early, plant everything out in the fall so they are rooted in and ready to go by spring. Let's pinch that off there. Bread seed poppies by seed was good. Surefire rose begonia was awesome because they required nothing from me. No fertilizer. In fact, they did better when I neglected them. So I tried to kind of prune them back mid-season to see if they would bush out or grow more. That did not work. It was better just sure neglect was the way to go. And they just did their thing and they were gorgeous. And they can handle our heat. And they can handle shade as well. I didn't plant any in the shade, but that is what I read. And then my favorite bulb was that drumstick allium. It is darling. They bloom forever. And then my girlfriend who went to Japan this summer, they had similar heat to what we had. It was really hot. It's a little more humid there. But she showed me drumstick alliums. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this flower. And I was like, I know what that is. It's in my garden. I'm gonna get you some. So I sent her some for Christmas. And she lives in Arizona. And I think they're going to do well for her in Arizona. So definitely trying something new. Could totally pay off. Now, something that didn't work for me this season was I love ranunculus, and I had some growing in the backyard, and they looked amazing. And I thought, well, ranunculus, they do well in our zone 10, and I could leave them in the ground. They should return every year. Let's do ranunculus instead of tulips. That did not work out. Ranunculus did not like being up front. I planted them just in the front where I planted those pansies. And this is south facing, so it is intense heat all day. And they did not do well in those conditions. So that was a lesson learned. They did better in my backyard where they had some protection and a little protection from the hot sun. It was a perfect little microclimate where it's underneath a tree, so some filtered light. And they come back. They've come back for the last 3 years, and I just leave them in the ground. So the microclimate made all the difference for the ranunculus, and it did not work out in my front prime real estate flower bed. It didn't work out, so that was a bummer. But I learned something. Always learning. Now my center island, I lost my 3 blue aloes, my blue glow aloes. I feel like I'm really missing that structure in my center island. And another lesson, keep up on my just twice a year root drench to prevent those snout weevils from getting it. That's not high maintenance at all. That can be done twice a year. And I think I'm going to go ahead and replace, I don't know if I'm going to do blue glow aloe. What do you guys think? Should I go ahead and put the blue glow aloes right back here? I was thinking 3, or this blue Perry Eye aloe is also beautiful. We could do 3 of those. I've got 3 over here already though on the side. And then I've got that variegated agave. That's just a stunner. I thought, should I do 3 of those up towards the front? I don't know. I don't know, you guys. Weigh in. What would you do? And if you have a vote for any of those 3 plants that I just mentioned, let me know, because I'm undecided. Another really, really big part of 2025 was we had the great fortune of traveling this year. We went on a Mediterranean cruise. So we went to Italy, France, Spain, and Portugal. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I drew so much inspiration from my travels. It was fun to note that in the Mediterranean, the plants really are very similar to what we grow here. I saw lots of succulents and cacti and salvia and gaura, lavender. Those were the main ones that, oh, bougainvillea. Oh, so I am very much looking forward to doing some more with bougainvillea in my garden this season. And then recently we went to New Orleans, and then a little sister's trip to Napa. And I told myself if I was ever in Napa or near that Northern California area, I was going to go visit Park Winters, which I did, and it was gorgeous. Even in the winter time, their winter garden is stunning. I'm going to include some footage of that right now. But, you know, I thought too to myself, I didn't know if you guys would want that kind of content. You know, just if I see what inspires me on my travels, do you want to see that too? Let me know. Leave me a comment. But big shout out to Raphael and John at Park Winters. They've done a phenomenal job. It is truly a hidden gem, and I highly recommend visiting if you are anywhere near that area. So much inspiration. Another thought on traveling is that I was so proud of my garden because it pretty much held its own while I was gone for like 2 weeks at a time. And that was in the dog days of summer, in the fall, and even in the winter. So that was really encouraging. I feel like, okay, I'm on the right track with making sure that my garden is low maintenance, drought tolerant, and beautiful. My motto. I was able to leave my garden for 2 weeks at a time, and it was fine. Now, granted, I had some casualties, but who doesn't, right? But for the most part, everything looked beautiful while I was gone. But I feel like the high maintenance thing were my containers. My containers is what I had to worry about. I had to make sure that I put them in like a little water bath, you know, so that they had continuous water in the summer. And now I'm thinking for my containers, I do want to focus in more on my succulents in pretty containers. So that's a goal of mine for 2026. But it is winter time now, and I can get away with planting some pretty things. And I'm going to put some pansies and violas in containers because Mother Nature is going to help me water them. I have 2 of these containers flanking the garage, which this is where I come in and out all day long. And I've got my standard David Austin Desdemona roses. Can you believe how gorgeous these roses are? Oh my gosh. But again, it's this one. This one is doing fabulous. And just like that, it's planted. I just wanted to try that little snap trick. Isn't that so pretty? Look at that ornamental kale. I could not resist that. Oh, it's so pretty. And the violas. And then the classic pansy. And now we got a matching pair. So pretty. Let's do a little tulips and pansy combo. This soil is pretty taxed. So I'm gonna get half of it out, fertilize it to recharge the soil. Mint and tulips. Let's just throw them all in there. Pointy side up. And I'm not worried about spacing. I want this to look really full. pansies while we wait. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but I get all of my plants that I need like in bulk, when I need a lot of plants. I get those at Sunshine Growers Nursery in Eastvale. They have a lot of succulents, trees, fruit trees, citrus, all kinds of stuff, pottery. You can even get mulch, compost, everything there. And the prices are reasonable. And it's local. Try to support my local nursery whenever I can. All right. That will do it. Do it for me. Well, friends, I'm exhausted. Bulb planting, container planting, and all before the next storm is about to roll in. I feel very accomplished. Of course, there's still more to do, but I think that's good for today. So, I just wanted to thank you for hanging out with me. I know that we kind of just planted and chatted, which is what I really meant for this video to be. I just wanted to get my planting done. I thought maybe you guys could live a little vicariously through me if you're in a zone that you're not able to plant yet. So a little planting, a little chatting, a little reflecting, and a couple of ideas for next year. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.